Hey team, welcome back. This video is all geared up Dwarf Warriors. So there are two styles of Dwarf Warriors. Dwarf Warriors means that technically your dominant function is extroverted sensing. And you are an ESP in the MBTI system. So your dominant function is extroverted sensing. And then you have introverted judging as your auxiliary function, and your tertiary is extroverted judging, and then your inferior function is introverted intuition. So Dwarf Warriors enchant their weapons with a mage or healer enchant. So let's look at the differences. But before that, we need to refresh on what a Dwarf Warrior is. So keys to the Dwarf Warrior. Present moment, bored by structure and routine. They want to get out and experience the world right now for what it is, and have that full experience of their senses. They want hands-on activities and hands-on resourcefulness, and they act on their impulses because it gives them more sensory feedback. So the suffix that I've condensed them into is of presence, which means you gain tenacity. So it's harder to break you out of reality. So looking at the ESP, the Dwarf Warrior, first of all, you're a Dwarf Warrior, so you want to run in there and you have two maces, two hammers, and you're just ready to swing and embrace everything. And less thinking about what could happen in the future and more just happen right now. Just do it. Make something happen. And then learn through constant interaction. And because that is your Dwarf Warrior aspect, your class abilities and everything like that, you focus on that. But the more you focus on that means that you have to ignore this other part of you. And all that gets repressed and put into your armor enchantment. And the armor enchantment is vision, which is an elf hunter-like enchantment. And basically, you need that armor, but you don't want to take hits. So it's that love-hate relationship. You like the aspects of an elf warrior, but you still want to keep it at some distance because it's difficult for you to change mindsets. So basically, a lot of Dwarf Warriors, when they get really exhausted and they just can't do the Dwarf Warrior-like things, like running in there and swinging and stuff, they start to misinterpret events and kind of think of different patterns that maybe happened in their past or that they've thought of in their past and put them onto the situation and just assume, well, this person has bad intentions and I don't like it and they're going to do this and this and this. So you don't want to do that. You want to stay away from that as much as you can because it's not the healthiest aspect of you because you focus on extroverted sensing so much. So let's go on to talk about your weapons. The ESFP. So this is one flavor, one blend of Dwarf Warrior. Your main hand is enchanted with authenticity, and your offhand is enchanted with effectiveness. So as a Dwarf Warrior, you are a scout. You're gathering information and learning from the world around you, from the present, tangible, concrete world around you. And then in order to make your best decisions and grow properly, you should listen to your inner, your heart, okay? Your inner experiences, your subjective feelings and ideas about the situation, your convictions, your morals, okay, your ethics, and it is not easy to do, okay? You want to do this true damage with authenticity, but it's slow, I think authenticity is the slowest of any of the functions, because you have to go in and think about how you feel about everything, and then you make this kind of just this decision that I will or will not ever do these type of things. And so it's very easy to ignore that, especially when you're thinking constantly about what is happening right now in the moment. But if you get good at it, and you are good at it, but if you listen to it, let's say, and start properly swinging with your main hand, then you'll be able to kind of comfort people in a physical way. You'll be able to settle them down physically and have them relax, because you know what they're going through physically and mentally as well. You can understand their feelings. So that is your best way of making decisions. But you have another way, an easier way, which is within your offhand. And this is through the enchantment you have as effectiveness. And this is a dwarf mage geomancer-like enchantment. So we just talked about the feelings and stuff, but the other side would be the logic, right? And it's logic in the outer world. And you want to move things around to have them get proper, good results for you, technical, logical results. So what can you do right now that will get something done? And then you can experience all of the sensory goodness that comes from that. But remember, it's not a very healthy cognitive function for you. It's not as strong, you're not as proficient in it as you are in authenticity and introverted feeling. So try to stay away from that as much as you can and use the healing aspect, the introverted feeling. So let's look at a quote. This is from Julian Casablancas. He says, "I just like making cool things and helping others make inspiring things. And it's not just about money or anything." So you can see the extroverted sensing coming out in making things, physically making things. He's an artist as well, a musical artist. So that has a lot of extroverted sensing in it. And then inspiring people, helping people, and kind of ignoring this measurable result of money, and thinking about what feels good to the individual would be the introverted feeling side. So in the United States, it's 8.5% of the population, according to Myers-Briggs.org. So next up, we have ESTP. So you're still a Dwarf Warrior. You still like embracing everything around you that you can in the concrete sensory realm. You still have some problems with abstract pattern recognition and future pacing and stuff like that. But now your main hand is enchanted with accuracy. This time your main hand is the logical side. And accuracy is technically introverted thinking, and it's focused on trying to make technical sense of the world and make these models in your head so that you can kind of understand how things work around you, and looking for the most accurate, most precise wording and understanding of things. So that's accuracy. It's kind of like it's the elf mage in the RPG kind of realm. And it's very good for you. You've learned how to do it very well. Not quite mastery level, but very, very good. And so the best thing you can do is to inform your decisions with your extroverted sensing and understanding the physical world around you, and then make those decisions based on what makes technical sense, what's the best logical approach to something. So that's how you would attack a situation. You can also help people kind of give them radically honest advice and give them, the proper way to attack a situation in a logical sense. Sure, there are many different approaches to it, but you are very good at using accuracy, your introverted thinking, so stick with that. But it's not that easy, as always, to go into your head and go into this subjective realm. So a lot of times you're going to probably default to extroverted feeling or the harmony enchantment on your offhand. And so when you start getting overwhelmed and you don't really know what to do, you start swinging faster and you get, you're stressed out. So you're trying to heal yourself and heal everybody around you. Whereas you should be just hitting accurately in the correct places with your main hand. So making decisions with harmony, trying to make sure everybody feels good and kind of following social niceties and stuff like that is something that you'd like to do. It's extroverted, so it's easy to go to, it's easy to relate to. It's like the Dwarf Warrior and the Dwarf Healer are speaking the same language, so there's no miscommunication or anything like that. And sometimes, because it's not your strongest decision-making function, you might get yourself in some trouble sometimes, and you might kind of misjudge the social situation. So you got to be careful with that, as we all do. These are just preferences and stuff, but watch out for it. So ESTP, we got a quote here from John F. Kennedy. It says, "It seems to me that one of the functions of the president is to try and have things move with more speed." So extroverted sensing, kind of moving with speed, is a good symbolism for that. And then introverted thinking would be looking at how the presidency functions with different pieces and different gears and the important things that it needs to do. And in the United States, it's 4.3% of the population that are ESTPs, according to Myers-Briggs.org. I didn't do these studies. So your quest, it takes time and practice, but it's worth it. Think about Dwarf Warriors. If you are a Dwarf Warrior, I hope I helped you with this. If you know one, if you're in a relationship with one, your boss, your teacher, your parents, your kids, whatever, this should help give you a little bit more insight, and just keep thinking about it over and over and over, and make sure that you help them out and talk to them through their judging function, through feeling or thinking, and introverted, extroverted, because it helps out a lot. So this has been a look at all geared up Dwarf Warriors and the 2 styles of Dwarf Warriors. As always, thank you very much for watching, and good luck, have fun.